Fúria, né? Não tem como, né? A gente tem falado isso há muito tempo, tem mostrado estatísticas sobre isso. É óbvio que a gente tem que falar que foi um TR ruim, mas é até injusto falar alguma coisa sobre esse TR da Fúria. É óbvio que eles têm que olhar, ver o que eles podem melhorar. Provavelmente o próprio Fallen vai falar que não passou muito bem hoje, mas assim, não é culpa só do capitão, né? Um TR que você toma ali, a virada, o jogo começou 3-0, depois virou 8-3 ali, a Fúria ainda conseguiu fazer um round e realmente o jogo ficou muito difícil, porque depois a Aurora abriu 12-4, então por mais que o resultado não foi um 13-3, moralmente foi como se fosse dois mapas, né? Um a Fúria controlou, o outro a Aurora controlou. E eu, né, repito, não sei o que vocês acham. Tem alguém que comentou já no outro jogo, né? Não sei se foi no último ou no penúltimo vídeo. Mas eu acho que a amostra de TR da Fúria, ela é muito, muito, muito positiva. E lembre que eu falei, galera, a gente tem que analisar a constância. Então, claro que não foi boa o TR dessa miragem, é óbvio. Vocês são inteligentes, não é isso que eu estou falando. Mas a amostra que a gente tem vai acontecer uma outra hora esse TR não encaixar. O problema é se de cada 10 mapas, 6 não encaixa. Aí a gente tem algo pra falar. De cada 10, 4 não encaixa, a gente pode também tentar analisar. Agora, se de cada 10, 1 ou 2 não encaixa, é algo, né? E ainda mais contra uma equipe forte, é algo que acho que a gente tem que esperar. E vamos pro mapa e vamos pro Overpass, onde o TR já tá legal, né? Já estava legal da última vez. Continua legal, né? E que da hora isso do Ekindar, né? Mais um TR muito bom do Ekindar. Desde que a gente viu o vlog que ele fala que sonhou com o Overpass depois que eles perderam para The Mongols. Mais um TR muito, muito bom do Ekindar. E da Fúria, né? Claro, mas eu gosto muito de ver o Ekindar nesse TR da Overpass. O Ekindar também, que pra mim foi um grande nome ali do CT também, principalmente alguns rounds ali no OT, o Molodói também, acho que ajudou bastante, mas realmente o CT da Fúria, ele pode melhorar, mas nesse caso específico eu também nem diria tanto assim, tá, galera? Isso não é desculpa não, tá? Mas assim, a Fúria, ela faz 4 rounds, se eu não me engano, são os 4 rounds quebrados no CT, né? Em rounds separados. O que significa que em nenhum momento você quebra o adversário e você não ganha o pistol. Ou seja, com um pistol, esses 4 rounds já se transformaria numa quebra. Não sei se dá pra entender, mas com um pistol e um eco, esses 4 que a Fúria fez já seriam 6. E quando você ganha o pistol, você também tende a ter esse forçado do adversário mais rápido. Então, em detalhe de pistol, só pistol poderia ser um round 7-5 pra Fúria, né? E acredito, na minha visão, tá, que isso ele é algo pra gente olhar. Também tem que olhar às vezes quando a gente ganha, mas o meu ponto é que eu não acho que esse TR do Overpass esteja ruim, tá? Esse CT do Overpass esteja ruim. Não sei o que vocês acham. Eu assisti, tá? Agora quando eu cheguei, não acho que tá ruim. Acho que a troca de rounds foi até positiva em algum momento pra gente, tirando o último round ali, né? Mas assim, não acho que tá tão ruim, apesar desse placar 8-4. E aí quando a gente vai pro OT, se comprova, tá? Eu tô brincando, né? Não esperei, né, chegar no OT. Tô falando pelo jogo mesmo. Mas no OT a Fúria acabando fazendo 3-0 de CT, aí com economia a Fúria consegue fazer um 3-0 e ganha o primeiro de TR fazendo ali o 16-12 e garantindo o 2-1 na série e garantindo a vaga nos playoffs. É isso mesmo, galera. Parece até comum, né? Vocês já se ligaram nisso? Parece comum agora falar que a Fúria está nos playoffs de uma SL Pro League, passando 3-1. E isso é muito legal. Isso é muito legal. Eu não sei como é que, né, a gente não tá super empolgado com essas notícias. A gente tá chegando no playoff e, cara, pô, vamos lá. Playoff, a gente quer mais. Tá chegando esse momento. Que legal. Parabéns pra Fúria. Mais um playoff de um campeonato sensacional, né? A gente falou sobre a questão da Fissure, que tinha o top 1 do mundo, é um big event, mas, pô, a gente pega aqui, né, dos 3 times que eu citei, os 3 também se classificaram para esses playoffs, né? Vitality, Mouse e Spirit já estão classificadas também para os playoffs da Pro League. São 3 times que não estavam na Fissure. Então, cara, esses playoffs também prometem bastante. Resultados de hoje, além de Fúria 2, Aurora 1, a gente teve Nave 2, Rotu 0. Então aí, Nave dando tchau pra Rotu, né? O Rotu fez um bom campeonato, tá? Tenho o que falar, mas parece que a gente sentiu ontem, né? Que chegou o momento dessas surpresas, a galera começou a estudar. 2-0 Nave na Rotu. 2-0 The Mongols da Gentlemates. Tchau também pra Gentlemates, tá? 2-0 da Mouse na 3D Max. A 3D Max não tá fora. Esse jogo podia perder, igual a Aurora, que perdeu pra Fúria, também não tá fora. 2-0 FaZe na Inner Circle. Tchau pra Inner Circle. A FaZe continua com o Rain, né? Olha a FaZe aí. E 2-0 da Vitality na G2. A Vitality está então também classificada. Classificados de hoje: Fúria, Mouse e Vitality. Eliminados de hoje: Rotu, Gentlemates e Inner Circle, o que leva a gente para os jogos de amanhã, que não tem brasileiro. Jogos de quem ganhou classifica, quem perdeu tá fora. 8h30 The Mongols e Nave, 11 horas G2 e 3D Max, 1h30 Aurora e FaZe. Super legal, né? Porque 3 dessas equipes vão cair fora do campeonato, então já são 3 equipes que também vão fazer menos pontos do que a Fúria. Então vamos lá pensar: The Mongols ou Nave, Aurora ou FaZe, times que muitas vezes a gente esteve atrás ali no ranking deles, mais uma vez vão ficar atrás da gente, né? E isso é bem importante. Galera, a Fúria passou 3-1, tá? A gente vai ter que esperar o suíço, o sistema suíço ali, mas uma coisa a gente já tem certa, tá? A Fúria não pode pegar os times que passaram 3-0. Então, a gente não sabe ainda quem a Fúria vai enfrentar nos playoffs. Pode ser a Vitality? Pode. Pode ser a Mouse? Pode. Pode ser um desses 3 que ganharem. Os únicos times que não tem como a Fúria enfrentar no primeiro jogo dos playoffs são a Spirit e a Falcons, tá? Então você já tira Spirit e Falcons, é claro, né? Eu vou fazer um vídeo especial dos playoffs. Fúria nos playoffs, Brasil nos playoffs, tá bonitíssimo de ver. Agora, rapaziada, é o que é, né? É o que é. Ganhou, segue, perdeu, tá fora. É a hora dos gigantescos entrarem em cena. Palco, torcida. A partir de sexta-feira, quem sabe a Fúria conquistando aí, com certeza seria, né, o maior título da organização, né? Uma SL Pro League de Counter-Strike. Quem sabe, né? Quem sabe a gente não possa estar comemorando isso daí. Valeu, galera. Obrigado a todo mundo que colou hoje de manhã. Como eu falei, eu sempre tô tentando colar quando eu posso. Hoje, né, o meu futebol, eu precisava ir um pouco mais tarde, então consegui ficar de manhã aí assistindo o pré-jogo, vendo os vlogs, e nesse final de semana também devo estar, tá? Então vamos torcer pra Fúria estar na semifinal, né? Semifinal e final. E aí a gente pode também acompanhar ao vivo junto, mas tá legal, tenho sempre acompanhado junto com vocês aí. Valeu, rapaziada. Tamo junto. Um beijo a todos e vai, Brasil, vai, Fúria. Que coisa linda. Ó, tá, nossa, tá muito bonito de ver.
Ah, não. Tá de sacanagem. Deixa eu só vir aqui. Eu não tinha vindo aqui ainda, velho. Como assim? Nunca tinha vindo aqui ainda, velho. What the hell? É possível. Não tinha vindo aqui ainda, velho. Porra, é essa, velho? Não tinha vindo aqui. fazer isso no Dark Souls, né? Então deixa guardado, né? Por acaso aconteceu um bagulho desse, eu teve. Muito strong.
Yeah, as of right now, I think only my members of the channel are aware of this, which, by the way, you know, a lot of phenomenal members-only content recently, but I recently got diagnosed with hepatitis, and that's rough, right? But, you know, ever since Alex Pereira knocked out Magomed Ankalaev, it's just like, how could I give a, how could I care? And that's rough, right? I recently got diagnosed with hepatitis.
Hepatites. Inflamação do fígado, coisa pouco.
And that's rough, right? But, you know, ever since Alex Pereira knocked out Magomed Ankalaev, it's just like, how could I give a, how could I care? You know what I mean? Like, it's all right. All right, I can live happy. It doesn't even matter what adversity is in my way. We live in a reality where Alex Pereira knocked out Magomed Ankalaev. I'm still buzzing from it. I'm still on cloud 9. The thing is, though, right now, there's not really anything left for Alex Pereira at middleweight. All right, I mean, you know, look, he's already beat frickin' Yuri Prohashka twice. Beat Khalil Roundtree, you know, had a really close fight with Ankalaev, then knocked him out. There's no need for a trilogy there. I mean, come on, don't you really want to see him fight Carlos Ulberg? No. I don't care. All right, I don't care. He wants to move up to heavyweight. Now, I understand that Dana White had some reservations about this, but you got to understand, right? Dana White's reservations come from love. All right, Alex Pereira is a massive star, and, you know, he wants to keep Alex safe, and I understand that, but I think the only thing really left for Alex Pereira is to move up to heavyweight. And, you know, pretty much every single heavyweight capable of fighting him is going to want to do that, right? I think, you know, there are 3 names that I think make sense right now for potential fights for him at heavyweight, obviously. You got Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, and John Jones, okay? Now, starting off with Cyril Gane here, I think that, look, no matter how you want to spin it, right, I think, frankly, Alex Pereira is going to be a properly sized heavyweight when he moves up. I mean, remember, right, when John Jones took 3 years off to bulk up to heavyweight, and he came in weighing 247, and he was fat, and he was slow, and he was all grotesque looking, right? That kind of goes to show that he's not a real heavyweight. But when you look at this video right here of Alex weighing 243, I mean, look, he definitely has some body fat on him, but he doesn't look fat. He doesn't look out of shape. He doesn't look like he's going to be, you know, a tremendous amount slower than he currently is at all. I mean, frankly, he looks like he carries the weight well. And I think that, you know, again, that's a decently sized heavyweight right there. And I think that Cyril Gane, right, obviously, when you look at his style, right, what does he do? There's a lot of footwork. There's a lot of movement. He likes to jab, and he likes to prod at you with kicks, whether it's teeps or leg kicks or the occasional high kick. But he doesn't have a lot of finishing ability. And again, he almost, when he does finish his opponents, because he breaks them down just with, again, footwork and jabbing and prodding at you with kicks, like we said. Now, I think that, believe it or not, his fight against Sergey Spivak, I think, sort of highlights why Alex Pereira can beat Cyril Gane. I do think that Cyril Gane is going to be a bit quicker, a bit faster, and I think Cyril Gane, honestly, is probably one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC right now, because, listen, you know, the fight with John Jones was embarrassing. Everybody thinks he got robbed against Volkov. I think the fight was a little closer than people give it credit for, but I get it. I understand, right? I understand. But I think that, you know, Cyril Gane has been working on his grappling a lot. I think that he even showed in the Volkov fight a ton of improvements when it comes to the grappling. But again, circling back to that Sergey Spivak fight, remember, Sergey Spivak is a grappler through and through. Sergey Spivak is not a very technical striker by any means. But the thing that we saw in that fight was, because Cyril Gane is so footwork and head movement based, he has a propensity to run into check left hooks. Obviously, Alex Pereira's best strike, more or less. I mean, you look at this example right here. You look at this example right here. You look at this example right here. And what do you see here? You see Sergey Spivak is moving in with combinations. Cyril Gane is looking to move his head, use footwork, kind of running into these check hooks. I mean, this one right here, he got cracked by this one. And this is Sergey Spivak right here, okay? This is not Alex Pereira. I think, you know, the key to fighting somebody like Cyril is to pressure him. That is why Volkov did so well in their rematch. He was very aggressive. He pressured him. He got into his face, and that allowed him to open up strikes. And that, to me, is where Alex Pereira is at his best, all right? That's how he eventually, you know, broke down Israel Adesanya when they fought. That was the massive change in the Magomed Ankalaev fight. Now, obviously, I do think that, he is going to struggle with the teeps to the body. I think, believe it or not, Magomed Ankalaev did a phenomenal job attacking Alex's body, whether it was teeps or body kicks or, whatever, right? But the pressure is going to really limit that attack. And I do think, because Ciryl Gane, so head movement based, so footwork based, there will be times if he is getting pressured, he will circle into that lead hook side, and I think he's susceptible to getting tagged. And I think that is a actually very, very winnable fight for Alex Pereira. Now, Jon Jones is a very interesting one. Now, I think first things first, right? The number one thing we got to get over, and I think a lot of you guys by now have gotten over this, but I'm sure there are still a lot of people who are plagued with this sort of verbal virus that still exists out there that gets spread around, which is the fact that, Alex Pereira doesn't know how to grapple, and therefore Jon Jones, who's a very good grappler, is just going to simply win because, Alex Pereira sucks at grappling, right? It's time that we sort of moved on from that and decided to wake up and evolve as a species on that front, because let me tell you something that maybe some of you guys aren't going to want to hear. Alex Pereira is a better grappler than Stipe Miocic was in that last fight against Jon Jones. He is. I mean, maybe the only thing he might have over Pereira is offensive wrestling. But someone like Stipe Miocic, for example, literally zero jiu-jitsu, literally zero concept of grappling on the ground. I said literally zero, probably not, that was an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Stipe, from this position, was helpless, was just completely flat on his back. It wasn't even, trying to get to the fence, wasn't trying to work his way up. He just laid there for 3 minutes and got pounded with elbows, right? Compare that to somebody like Alex Pereira, who, when he is on his back, does a really good job with frames, right? Because here's the thing you gotta understand about top control in MMA, right? When you are pinning your opponent, you are not striking. When you are striking your opponent from on top, you are now no longer pinning. And this is a concept that Alex has a very good understanding of. You look at the Yuri Prohashka fight, right? Yuri's on top, Alex is framing off very well. The second Yuri Prohashka tried to posture up to land anything, Alex immediately got his back to the fence, grabbed a whizzer, stood back up. It's honestly very, very good. And again, right, look, Jon Jones is a very good grappler, but his pure jiu-jitsu is not that high level. Jon Jones, he has some good submissions and he has really good elbows from on top. But, the risk of Jon taking your back with a body triangle, when the fuck has he ever done that? I don't think he ever has. I think that, Alex Pereira from this position is going to get his back to the fence. And I think that, he's not getting tapped with a fucking guillotine like this, all right? That's not happening, all right? He was able to survive this really dangerous position from, an actual, classically trained jiu-jitsu black belt in Jan Blachowicz, right? And again, not to say that Jan Blachowicz is better at grappling than Jon Jones, but when it comes to just traditional jiu-jitsu, Jan Blachowicz is a little bit more fundamental in that regard, whereas Jon Jones kind of freestyles it a little bit on the ground. And the other thing about Jon Jones is, right, technically he's what, a week, 2 weeks younger than Alex Pereira, but about Jon Jones, man, I don't think there's a lot of tread left on those tires of Jon Jones. Listen, anybody who's followed Jon Jones' career at all knows how little he cares about his health. All right, he gets blackout drunk on the regular. All right, barely sleeps. His training partners talk about how he strolls in to fucking training sessions. Fucking smelling like alcohol on 4 hours of sleep, and he would still do phenomenal because he's such a gifted athlete. But I think Jon Jones, it might be a little old and withered. I think it might be like throwing a hot dog down a hallway these days. I think that it is a very good, likely reality here with the reason why Jon Jones wants to retire, the reason why he knows he's just not going to fight Tom Aspinall is because, he's only 37, turning 38, but he has not taken care of himself, man. That's number one, right? Number two is Jon Jones is, his boxing defense is atrocious. We've talked about that in depth. And he is going to back up and try to stay away from Alex Pereira when he moves forward with strikes. I mean, you fucking look at the Stipe Miocic fight, right? Stipe Miocic in that third fight was fighting like he had just downed a shit ton of Quaaludes, right? And, you know, even then, every single time that he went with a flurry at Jon Jones respected it. He backed up, he evaded, he went all the way back to the fence. Stipe actually tagged him a few times, and right here fucking cracks him with an uppercut in close. You know, I mean, when Jon Jones does that right here, he puts people to fucking sleep. You know, he landed this inside leg kick very clean right here, which is something that we just saw Alex Pereira destroy Ankalaev with and make him switch stances immediately. You know, I think that when Alex looks to pressure, Jon Jones is going to respect it. He's going to look to back up. I think the leg kicks are going to be there. I think, you know, if fucking Jon Jones pulls out this defense right here, he's in serious trouble. But again, I think, unfortunately, there's a fair amount of people who are just going to be like, okay, yeah, but Alex can't grapple, so he's just going to lose because he can't grapple, which just is not fucking true. When the Combat Sambo world champion, fucking Magomed Ankalaev, who has been grappling since he was a little kid, fucking took 11 shots on Alex Pereira, was beating him to the hips, getting deep on takedowns, ducking underneath strikes to beat Alex to the hips. Alex's takedown defense was phenomenal, despite the fact that apparently he had some sort of virus, he was sick, broken hand, you know, whatever. Alex is really strong. He's really fucking strong. He was way stronger than Magomed Ankalaev. And the takedown defense and all these sequences were beautiful. I mean, you see the way right here, he down blocks off of this takedown attempt from Ankalaev after he got hurt. These are really good fundamentals. Really, really good. Now, of course, you know, I don't even think Ankalaev is going to be as strong or as good of a wrestler as Jon Jones is theoretically, but still, you know, I have a really hard time seeing Jon Jones submitting Alex Pereira. Alex, I think, is going to be able to get his back to the fence and stand back up. And I think that, again, we have seen that Jon will be susceptible on the feet against someone like Pereira. And, you know, frankly, I think I can favor Alex Pereira to win this fight. You know, I think obviously a big question mark is going to be exactly what kind of shape is Jon Jones going to be in. But, you know, I think that, look, I think lesser strikers have done a phenomenal job against Jon Jones. And I think that, you know, Alex Pereira is a dangerous fight. Now, though, you know, Tom Aspinall is a little scary. You know why Tom Aspinall is a little scary? Because he's so fucking fast. He's so quick and he's so fast. And I mean, look at this sequence right here in the very first fight against Magomed Ankalaev. Now, I don't know, maybe Alex's reaction time wasn't there because he was sick. But, you know, Ankalaev moves in with a lead uppercut right here. And, I mean, Alex isn't even reacting yet, dude. He's not even reacting, all right? And he gets cracked right here because Ankh is just quick. Now, obviously, right, you look at their last fight. With the insane amount of pressure that Alex put on him, he was sliding away here very beautifully when Ankh was trying to move forward. And Ankh looked quick here. But, I mean, fuck, Tom Aspinall is just so scary and so detrimental if he lands cleanly. I think, like, look, you know, theoretically, right, because he uses so much footwork and so much movement, I think the leg kicks can be there. I think that, obviously, Tom Aspinall, because he trusts in his speed and his power so much, he can be a little reckless, right? He leaves his chin out in the open. He kind of goes at guys recklessly. Obviously, Pavlovich landed a clean shot here for that exact reason, though. It is hard to time Tom Aspinall. It's hard to, like, really get your body behind a shot on, like, a moment's notice like this because of how fast he is. But, you know, maybe Alex can hold his ground, look to just catch him with the jab as soon as he moves forward. Frankly, I would like to see a lot of body kicks and a lot of teeps from Alex. Because, you know, obviously, right, Tom Aspinall, there's so much footwork and he's constantly looking to blitz at you. That can be a very nice weapon to land on him. The thing is, though, truthfully, Alex doesn't really go for those a lot. He doesn't. That's what he really needed in the first Ankalaev fight, and it just wasn't really there. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think that... Man, it's just the fact that fucking Tom Aspinall is going to be 250 pounds minimum, and he's going to be so light on his feet. And all he needs to do is land one time. And, you know, that's to say he's not going to fucking hit a power double leg, and we're going to learn about how good his jiu-jitsu is. Like, we've seen glimpses of it. It's good. It's very good. But, you know, we don't know the full extent to it yet. But, look... I mean, fuck, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think that, I think the John Jones fight at the White House card is what we need. That's what I think. I think that's what we need. The only question is, though, is Alex going to move up to heavyweight for something other than a title fight? I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to say there's no shot he beats Tom Aspinall. I'm not going to say there's no shot. But what I am going to say is that I think John Jones is the fight that we should be clamoring for. All right, because Tom scares me a little bit. All right, that's kind of obviously if any of these fights get announced, there's probably a lot more specifics to look at, but on a broad level, I think that's what a lot of this comes down to.
Kavak Katsa.
Da, Fenestra. Bueneira.
Sasha.
Fadastama.
Olenkov. Mortala.
Guardar as minhas do Kika. Deixa eu ver aqui. Vai 21. Diário ainda tá. Deixa eu ver. Eu vou dar um conta. Achei que não tá. Eu troco. Boa. Não tá com a RC já, velho. Estranho. Mas eu tivesse com a RC, mas não tá com a RC. Vai. Eu posso, tipo, acabar esse bagulho aí. Perder, acho que perdendo 2 dólares, eu acho. Ainda tem assim. A gente perde 2 dólares. Aí tem 2 tá lá, 2 lá. Vê se é direitinho aqui, velho. Não tá indo pra dar no long agora. Vou shortar. Eu acho que 4 horas, shortar. Não vai fazer agora. Deixa eu ver quanto eu tô perdendo.